Hey, how's it going? Today I just want to give my top three most embarrassing stories. Um, I'm always really interested when people give their own embarrassing stories just because it's fun to figure out everyone's specific life experiences and kind of what they've been through as far as awkwardness or embarrassment. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, first one, there's a local place in Charlotte called Discovery Place, and it's just kind of a science museum, mainly for kids, that sort of thing, but they have some cool science exhibits and everything. And so one time when I was really little, I was probably 3 or 4, my mom and my brother and I visited, and we were going around, and there was some really cool exhibits, and I had been playing and running around all the place, and I was getting a little tired, so I decided to sit on a bench. And so there was all sorts of cool things on different benches, and I saw this one bench, and there was like a cool statue sitting there. And so I decided I was just gonna go sit on the statue to have some fun, and went over there and I sat down, and it ended up being a full-grown lady. And so some random 4-year-old just ended up sitting in her lap, and then my mom came, and I was just kind of petrified sitting there, like looking at the lady. I was like, she was like, "Hey," and I was like, she was like, "How are you?" My mom's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Kiefer, Kiefer thought you were me. Didn't think it was her. I just thought it was a statue." So that one wasn't super embarrassing because it was mainly I was younger, so it was just a little embarrassing, and I still remember it, so clearly it had some sort of impact. Second most embarrassing would be I was in a speech class called Toastmasters. I don't know if any of you have heard of that, but it's essentially teaching you how to do some public speaking and that sort of thing. And so when I was 13, 12, I went to my first meeting, and it was at one I didn't know any of the people. And it's not really a high pressure kind of situation. It's more of a like just fun thing. All the people come to the class, and it was all teenagers and such in this specific chapter. And so I went in there, and I was supposed to tell the like joke of the day type of thing. So it was supposed to be like a fun little quip. It was only like a minute and a half maybe. And so I get up there, and I had practiced over and over, and I remember I was practicing at O'Charlie's and with my family, and I had been spending probably a week and a half just practicing, just telling my jokes. And then I get up, and they're like, "Okay, Kiefer, it's time to tell the joke of the day." And so I stand up there, and I completely blank, and everyone's just kind of looking at me, and they were like approving, they were smiling and stuff, and I was petrified. I did not want to speak in front of people, and I just stuck there froze, and then I ended up running out of the room crying. So that was a good time. Never went back to that specific chapter. Ended up doing Toastmasters elsewhere once I got a little older and able to actually speak in front of people. But I remember being so embarrassed and just thinking to myself, I didn't understand why I was so nervous in front of people, but ended up working through that later. And then I think the final story will be, and this one was really embarrassing because I was actually later in high school. I was fully self-aware, and I knew everything that was going on around me. So I used to play soccer for most of my life, actually, from the age of 4 until playing like intramurals and club stuff in college. So during soccer, sometimes you'll have like state championships, and you'll have different tournaments and stuff. And so one time I had just done, we got into the finals, semifinals, finals of like a local tournament, and we ended up having 4 games. And so naturally I was very dehydrated and stuff. And my family has some issues sometimes with leg cramps. We just build up the lactic acid that causes that. kind of a genetic thing. And I think that's also a pretty common thing in soccer, just because you're using your legs so much. So we ended up going to this really good barbecue place. It's a place called Smithfield's, and it was in South Carolina. And I was remembering I was super dehydrated, but I wanted to change from my soccer clothes into my normal clothes. And I was in a pretty cramped back seat, and I start taking my pants off, the soccer shorts, and I was gonna put on my regular shorts, and I get them around my ankles, and then all of a sudden I get the absolute worst cramp in both legs. I had it in my quads and my hamstrings in both legs, and so my legs were just straight. And I also didn't have my phone on me, and I did have my phone, but I wasn't able to really reach it because I was in so much pain and my legs were straight, and it was like locking the phone in my pocket. And I ended up being able to pivot enough so that I could finally get my phone, and I'm in the middle of trying to call my brother. And so my older brother comes out, and right when he's coming out, I have my pants around my ankles, and a bunch of elderly people start walking by really slowly right in front of our windshield, and they could see in because we didn't have any tinted glass or anything. And so they're able to just see me with my pants around my ankles cramping up. I was like 16 or 17, and I was absolutely petrified, and I had to call my brother and be like, hey, I'm stuck here in the car and cramped up a little bit, and I got my pants off. I'm gonna need you to help me put my pants on so I can get out of the car and stretch. So I ended up having to call my brother to help me get my pants on because I was cramping so bad. And also, some elderly people got to see me in my skivvies. So that one was rather embarrassing because both I was old and some public indecency was involved. So anyways, those are my top 3 most embarrassing stories. Obviously, as anyone's going through life, they're going to have embarrassing stories, but I thought those might be some entertaining ones. I don't know if people that know me know those. Some of them they will, some of them they won't. But just wanted to share those today. Thought they were entertaining, and you may enjoy them. And I might be doing a mixture of these kind of more fun videos and some help videos, and I'll be putting some dance videos out soon. So hopefully that'll, some people will find it entertaining. We'll see. But I hope that all of you have a great day, and thank you for coming and watching. And like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Again, I'll be building this out a little more, kind of getting my feet under me right now. But I hope you have a great day, and those are just my thoughts.